In this lecture, we are going to study a topic from rural sociology, that is caste-tribe settlements. This lecture deals with how tribal societies emerged to be as castes in the society, in the civilization. So what happened, according to D.N. Majumdar, you can see the definition that he has given, that it has been a transformation where the tribal groups have converted and transformed into the civilization and have become a part of the greater Hindu society. They also have achieved a distinct position in the caste hierarchy, and they gained this position on the basis of what? On the basis of the occupational specialization. They also said that the admission into the caste hierarchy of this tribal group it also dependent, or it was also based on the process of Sanskritization, where what happens in Sanskritization is there is a hierarchy and the people they move from the lower status to the upper status by adapting the habits, the lifestyles of the upper class group. Now coming to the introduction part of it, what is actually a tribal society? So the basic features of the tribal society, or what the tribal society is really is, it is that they have their own culture and their own traditions. They preferred, in the ancient times, they preferred to be left isolated because they thought that, if they were brought into the mainstream civilization, it would prove to be detrimental for their own culture, their own traditions. What happened with time, the economy and the needs of the society started growing, and there was a requirement for new products and new demands emerged. So, new and skilled people were required to fulfill these demands. So, on the basis of this occupation, smaller castes started to emerge, and new castes also emerged amongst the Brahmins. Various tribes were taken into this caste-based society. They were given the status of jatis. Now coming to the features of tribal settlements. They were dependent mainly on agriculture as their occupation, and they were closely related to nature. So they made products also that were procured from nature. They did not have access to markets and to the mainstream society, therefore their income was very low, and also they used very primitive methods in production. Because of this, they also had a low standard of living, a simple lifestyle. The settlements were sparsely populated, and they had primary and close relationship with each other as they were small groups, and the production was also based on consumption basis. Now coming to the types of settlement, what were the various types of settlements? First is compact settlement, where the resources were available in plenty. There was a mode of transportation available, and it was a dense kind of a settlement. The next is miscellaneous settlement. Miscellaneous settlement were basically isolated or deserted. The resources were very scarce in nature. Very few resources were available as compared to compact settlement where the resources were available in plenty. And the houses, they were scattered all over the settlement. So the population was not very dense. Third is rural settlement, where the regional boundary began to be defined and it was very similar to a village. Last is Caste-Tribe Continuum settlement. This was studied by Surajit Sinha in India, where tribes started converting into caste by contact. So by contact means they started coming into contact with the caste. How? We studied that because of the demands in the society, because there were new demands with the change in society. And with this, their lifestyle also started changing because they started coming into contact with the mainstream civilization. What is this continuum? So this concept of continuum was initially coined by Robert Redfield in his work, The Folk Culture of Yucatan, where he used the folk-urban continuum model. And in this continuum, there's a shift from one pole to another, where one pole is the tribe and the other pole is caste. The features of tribal society would be equality. So the movement from one pole to another here would be the movement from equality to inequality, where inequality is a feature of caste system. According to Bailey, we view caste and tribe as the opposite ends of a single line. That means they are polar opposites of each other. What happened in the caste tribe continuum is that there was a transition from tribes to caste. It was a very long process where multiple changes took place. It was a long process because there is a vast difference. These two, they were totally in contrast with each other. And due to the formation of the different social institutions and the remaking of these institutions like private property, caste system, the state, patriarchal society, so many changes have taken place over the period of time. Therefore, it was a really long process. Some other factors that are held responsible for this continuum is the role of ethnocentrism. Here, ethnocentrism is because the high caste or high religion was considered as Hinduism. Therefore, the role of ethnocentrism, where they wanted to become a part of the bigger and more dominating group. So they have yearned to become Hindus in the past also, and with that desire, the old societies started to dissolve and new society began to emerge. In this new society, there was a new kind of hierarchy, a new type of class formation, new and complex division of labor, and instead of the breakup of tribes, there is transformation. They did not break up, they transformed themselves and emerged as various castes, which were new and different in nature. Another concept related to this is cultural approximation, which is a form of adaptation, and it is also a process but at the same time an end product. This was to study the problem of tribe caste mobility. When there is a change, there are bound to be some of the problems related to it. So, this cultural approximation talks about how it is a form of adaptation in which interactive and mutually beneficial cultural groups coexist with each other. This was done by Srivastav in his study of village Bhotia in UP. The next concept is by Srinivas and Redfield, that is Hinduization, where acculturation was studied to understand the tribe caste mobility in India, where the primary concern was social mobility of the group and not the individual, because it is possible and easier for an individual to gain social mobility, but at the same time, it is very difficult for a group. During the process of restructuring themselves, they accept trends of the dominant group and then they become like them. They adapt to their habits, their lifestyles, etc. Another feature of this argument is that tribes are interacting with the caste category and not with the individuals in the society, because they do not want to become a part of the civilization, a part of the mainstream economy. They want to be recognized as a caste in themselves. So, this because caste is attached to rank, hierarchy, ritual, pollution and purity, etc. Therefore, this dominates all other considerations of modalities of interaction. Therefore, they were not interested in interacting or becoming like someone. They wanted to gain identity and a rank and hierarchy in the society. People are adapted to the dominant trends visible in the society in which they participate. So, when they started participating in the mainstream society, they wanted to be adapted to the various trends that were there. This is described as neo caste system, in which the traditional model based on a series of dyadic relationships, what happens? It changes into systematic, ideological and organization based, which is caste like. It is very similar to caste like model. Now, social exchange in this type of tribe caste continuum also happens because of the presence of process like Hinduization and Sanskritization. Let's discuss some questions now. When tribes are integrated with the traditional civilization of India, it is called as tribe caste continuum. Option 3 is correct. Question number 2. Who is of the view in India? However, most of the groups which are regarded as tribal have been in contact with Hindu society for many centuries past. Directly or indirectly, they have imbibed influences from Hinduism. This was said by Sachidananda in his study of tribe caste continuum. I hope you got this lecture. Thank you for watching.